The midnight hour often arrives not with the gentle descent of sleep, but with the sharp, unwelcome clarity of a mind in overdrive. You lie there, the sheets cool against your skin, yet a feverish heat seems to emanate from within. The darkness of the room offers no solace, only a canvas upon which anxious thoughts paint their most vivid and unsettling scenes. The quiet amplifies the thrumming in your chest, the shallow breaths, the overwhelming sense of being alone with a storm that rages in the stillness. This is the familiar landscape of sleepless anxiety, a nightly vigil where rest eludes, and the soul feels tethered to a relentless worry. It is a profound human experience, one that can leave one feeling utterly depleted, questioning one's own resilience and searching for a flicker of peace in the vast expanse of the night. Many believe this struggle is a solitary one, a sign of personal failing or a weakness of spirit. But what if this very struggle, this wrestling with the darkness, holds within it a hidden invitation? What if the times when sleep refuses its embrace are not merely moments of suffering, but potent opportunities for a deeper encounter with the divine? There is a profound resonance in the admission of Charles Spurgeon, a titan of faith whose words have echoed through centuries, that he too knew these restless nights. He confessed that sleep often failed him, that the weight of ministry, the burdens of the world, and the internal battles left him wide awake when the rest of creation slumbered. This revelation is not a sign of his inadequacy, but a testament to his shared humanity, a bridge across time that connects his experience to ours. When we find ourselves in that familiar, unwelcome wakefulness, staring into the darkness, it is easy to feel isolated, as if no one truly understands the intensity of the internal tempest. But Spurgeon's honest acknowledgement offers a powerful counterpoint. He understood that the anxiety that grips us in the quiet hours is not a mark of weakness, but often an overflow of a heart that is deeply feeling, perhaps even overburdened, and desperately seeking a haven. It is the soul's cry in the silence, a profound expression of our vulnerability. To know that a man of such spiritual fortitude wrestled with the same shadows can be a profound source of comfort, a quiet assurance that we are not alone in this nightly battle. This shared experience invites us to reframe our understanding of sleeplessness, moving away from self-recrimination and towards a more compassionate, insightful perspective, recognizing that within these moments of unrest, a unique pathway to divine connection may be waiting to be discovered. The quiet hours of the night, when the world outside falls silent and the internal landscape becomes starkly illuminated, can indeed be fertile ground for spiritual discovery, as Charles Spurgeon so profoundly understood and articulated. He did not shy away from acknowledging the difficult realities of his own spiritual journey, including the times when sleep was a distant dream. In his sermons and writings, he spoke of these dark nights not as periods of defeat, but as often the most sincere moments of prayer. He described the stillness of the night, devoid of the distractions of the day, as an opportunity for an unvarnished conversation with God. Spurgeon posited that when sleep eludes us, when the mind races with worries and anxieties, it can be interpreted as a divine invitation. It is as if God is saying, "You cannot find rest in slumber, so turn to me. Speak to me, even if your voice trembles, even if your words are jumbled by distress." This perspective shifts the paradigm entirely. Instead of viewing insomnia as a curse, Spurgeon presented it as a potential catalyst for deeper communion. He recognized that faith is not meant to be a shield that prevents us from experiencing pain or discomfort, but rather a transformative force that changes how we navigate through those experiences. It's about finding God within the struggle, not escaping the struggle altogether. His message is one of profound encouragement. Even in the throes of anxiety that keep us awake, God is present, attentive, and ready to meet us in that vulnerable space. He didn't offer platitudes. He offered a lived theology that embraced the entirety of the human condition, including its deepest struggles, and found God's grace woven through it all. In those moments when the embrace of sleep is denied, and the mind is a tempest of worries, there are sacred practices, rooted in faith, that can serve as anchors. Charles Spurgeon himself advocated for turning these wakeful hours into opportunities for spiritual engagement, transforming the solitary experience of insomnia into a profound encounter. He suggested the simple yet powerful act of repeating scripture in prayer. Consider Psalm 4 verse 8, which speaks of resting in God's peace. "In peace I will lie down and sleep, for you alone, Lord, make me dwell in safety. Whispering such verses, allowing them to permeate the anxious thoughts, can begin to reorient the soul towards divine trust. It's not about forcing the anxiety away, but about overlaying it with the truth of God's presence and promises. Beyond reciting scripture, Spurgeon encouraged direct communion, speaking to God even in silence. This can manifest as a quiet, internal dialogue, an offering of one's fears, hopes, and weariness to the divine listener. Another practice he might have embraced, and one that resonates deeply with his spirit, is the act of writing. Whether it's a letter to God, pouring out the anguish of the night, or a list of gratitude, acknowledging the good that remains even amidst distress, the act of putting pen to paper can be a cathartic release, a tangible way to engage with the divine. Spurgeon's perspective was that the very place of our struggle, the bed, the bedroom, could be consecrated. The pillow could become an altar, the room a sanctuary, and the pain itself, paradoxically, an instrument of worship. This is not to diminish the reality of suffering, but to elevate the potential for divine encounter within it. God, in his infinite love, is not disturbed by our midnight confessions of distress. He is present, waiting to offer his peace. As the night deepens and the struggle for sleep continues, let us turn our hearts towards a prayer that acknowledges our weariness yet anchors us in divine presence. Imagine the words of Spurgeon himself, spoken softly into the quiet darkness: "Lord, my body cries out for rest, but my spirit longs for your peace. Even if sleep does not come, I do not want to face this night without you. I lay my anxieties, my fears, and my weariness at your feet. May your presence be my solace, your love my comfort, and your stillness my ultimate refuge. Grant me the grace to trust in your unfailing watchfulness, knowing that you are my guardian, my peace, and my strength." This is the comforting truth that resonates through the ages: God is awake when we cannot be. He is the ever-present sentinel, the unwavering source of peace that transcends our human limitations. While our eyes may remain open, our minds may churn, the divine consciousness is ever vigilant, ever loving. Think of Spurgeon, perhaps gazing out a window in the pre-dawn hours, not with despair, but with a quiet anticipation. As the first hints of celestial light begin to paint the horizon, a new day is born, and with it, the promise of renewed strength. This is the essence of spiritual endurance, finding God's light even in the deepest darkness, knowing that dawn will always break. If you too have felt the sustaining hand of God during those sleepless nights, if you have found him to be your peace when rest eluded you, share that testimony. Comment below, "God is my peace," and let us affirm together the enduring power of divine presence in our most vulnerable moments. The landscape of persistent anxiety, particularly when it disrupts the natural rhythm of sleep, often feels like navigating a dense fog without a compass. We grasp for familiar comforts, for the solace of routine, yet the internal disquiet can render them ineffective. Consider the subtle yet potent shift in perspective that arises when we begin to perceive these wakeful hours not as a void to be endured, but as an unscripted arena for cultivating a unique form of inner resilience. This is not about suppressing the anxiety, but about engaging with it constructively, much like a craftsman learns to work with the grain of challenging wood. The very energy that fuels the racing thoughts can be transmuted. Instead of allowing it to spiral into catastrophic thinking, we can learn to channel this heightened awareness. For instance, when a specific worry surfaces, rather than immediately trying to push it away, we can acknowledge its presence, much like noticing a cloud in the sky. Then, we can gently inquire about its underlying message, not in a spirit of interrogation, but of compassionate curiosity. What unmet need might this anxiety be signaling? Is it a call for greater self-care, a need for clear boundaries, or perhaps an indication that a particular situation requires a more conscious approach? This deliberate, mindful engagement with the anxious thought, rather than a reactive avoidance, begins to dismantle its power. It's a practice of presence, of being with what is, without judgment. Furthermore, building on this idea of mindful engagement, we can explore the practice of spiritual anchoring during these times. When sleep evades you, and the usual methods of relaxation prove insufficient, imagine intentionally redirecting your focus to aspects of your life that inspire profound gratitude. This isn't about forced positivity, but about consciously recalling moments, people, or even small blessings that evoke a genuine sense of appreciation. Think of a time someone showed you unexpected kindness, or a moment of breathtaking natural beauty you witnessed. By actively bringing these experiences to the forefront of your consciousness, you begin to shift the energetic tone of your internal environment. This deliberate act of remembrance can act as an anchor, grounding you in the present moment and counteracting the tendency of anxiety to pull you into future fears or past regrets. It's a way of actively participating in the healing process, using the very wakefulness that troubles you as an opportunity to cultivate a deeper wellspring of inner peace. This practice requires consistent effort, much like tending a garden. The more you nurture these positive recollections, the more readily they will surface when needed. Conversely, consider the profound impact of embracing a posture of surrender. Anxiety often stems from a deep-seated desire for control, a perceived need to orchestrate every outcome. When sleep won't come, this need for control can intensify, leading to a frantic mental effort to fix the situation. However, spiritual wisdom often points to the liberation found in letting go. This is not a passive resignation, but an active release of the burden of needing to manage everything. When you find yourself awake and anxious, try consciously releasing the need to force sleep. Acknowledge that sleep is a natural process, and that by striving too hard, you may be inadvertently hindering it. Instead, offer your struggle to the universe, to God, or to whatever higher power you believe in. Visualize yourself placing your worries, your desire for sleep, and your anxieties into a sacred vessel, and then letting that vessel float gently away. This act of surrender, repeated with intention, can create a space for relaxation to enter. It's about trusting that, even in your vulnerability, there is a larger flow at work, a divine timing that orchestrates all things, including rest. This requires a deep well of faith, a quiet confidence that even when you cannot see the path forward, something greater is guiding you. Another crucial layer to explore when facing sleepless anxiety is the practice of mindful breathing, not merely as a relaxation technique, but as a form of spiritual communion. When the mind is agitated, the breath often becomes shallow and rapid, mirroring the internal state. Consciously slowing and deepening the breath can have a profound physiological and spiritual effect. As you inhale, imagine drawing in divine peace and presence, filling yourself with a calming energy. As you exhale, visualize releasing the tension, the worries, and the frantic thoughts that grip you. This is not just about regulating your breathing, it's about intentionally infusing each breath with a spiritual intention. Think of it as a silent prayer, a continuous act of connecting with the life force that animates all things. Each slow, deliberate breath becomes a sacred moment, a tangible link to the divine. This practice can be sustained throughout the night, transforming periods of restlessness into opportunities for deep spiritual renewal. It's a gentle yet powerful way to reclaim your inner equilibrium, one breath at a time, fostering a sense of calm and trust that can eventually lead to the gentle return of sleep. Reflecting on this journey so far, we've traversed the quiet chambers of the soul, acknowledging the profound resonance of shared human experiences, particularly those moments when the stillness of night amplifies our inner world. The threads of our exploration have woven together the understanding that even in the deepest stretches of wakefulness, when the mind feels like a restless sea, there exists a hidden current of divine engagement. We've considered how the very challenges that disrupt our peace can, paradoxically, become conduits for a more intimate connection. The insights gleaned suggest a reorientation, a subtle yet significant shift in how we perceive these periods of disquiet. It's as if the intensity of the experience, when met with conscious awareness, begins to reveal a deeper, more resilient aspect of our being, one that is not diminished by struggle but refined by it. As we pivot towards the final reflection, consider how the scattered fragments of our nocturnal wrestling, the anxious thoughts, the unbidden worries, the yearning for rest, begin to coalesce into a more coherent pattern. The cumulative effect of these explorations points towards an emergent understanding, that the practice of presence, far from being an escape from difficulty, is itself the pathway through it. The quiet cultivation of inner stillness, the gentle redirection of our awareness, and the courageous embrace of what arises in the darkness all contribute to a profound unfolding. It's akin to witnessing a landscape emerge from mist, what initially appeared as an impenetrable barrier gradually resolves into contours and forms, revealing a terrain that was always present but previously obscured. In light of these insights, the path forward becomes clearer, not necessarily in the eradication of all discomfort, but in the development of a deeper capacity to navigate it with grace and wisdom. The spiritual energies we've touched upon, gratitude, surrender, and the simple act of conscious breathing, are not isolated techniques, but interconnected practices that foster a robust inner life. They serve as gentle guides, helping us to reframe our relationship with ourselves and with the divine, particularly during those vulnerable hours when the veil between our conscious experience and deeper truths seems thinnest. This journey has illuminated the potential for transformation inherent in every moment, even those marked by sleeplessness. The true practice begins now, not in the absence of struggle, but in the conscious embrace of presence that emerges from it. Having journeyed through the quiet hours, acknowledging the storms that can brew within when sleep evades us, we arrive at a profound understanding. The deepest wells of peace are often discovered not by seeking an escape from discomfort, but by learning to sit with it, to breathe through it, and to offer it, with gentle surrender, to the divine. The anxieties that grip us in the night, while undeniably challenging, are not indictments of our spiritual fortitude, but rather invitations to a deeper communion, opportunities to discover a resilience we may not have known we possessed. It is in these moments of vulnerability, when the usual shields of distraction are lowered, that the quiet whisper of the sacred can be heard most clearly, guiding us towards an inner sanctuary that remains steadfast, even amidst the most turbulent internal weather. This awakening is not about the absence of difficulty, but the presence of a guiding light within it. The nightly vigil, when met with intention, transforms from a battle against exhaustion into a sacred dialogue, a testament to the soul's enduring capacity to seek and find solace. The simple act of breathing, infused with a conscious intention to receive peace, becomes a profound spiritual discipline, a continuous reconnection with the animating force that sustains us. By learning to release the desperate grip of control and instead trust in the greater flow of life, we unlock a profound sense of liberation, allowing the natural rhythm of rest and restoration to find its way back to us. This journey is a testament to the quiet power of being, of allowing, and of trusting that even in the darkest hours, a dawn of renewed peace is always on the horizon, patiently waiting for our awareness to turn towards it. The lasting impact of this contemplative journey lies not in the eradication of all future sleepless nights, but in the cultivation of a profound inner resource, a wellspring of peace that can be accessed regardless of external circumstances. It is the realization that the very moments we perceive as burdens can, in fact, be the most potent catalysts for spiritual growth. By choosing presence over panic, by offering our anxieties to a loving divine, and by breathing in peace with each exhaled breath, we transform the landscape of our inner lives. The true practice, then, is not a singular event but a continuous unfolding, a gentle commitment to meeting each moment, especially those of quiet struggle, with an open heart and a spirit of unwavering trust. The dawn always breaks, and in its light, we find not just rest, but a deeper knowing of our own inherent strength and divine connection.